You are surrounded by spies who call themselves friends. They smile at your face, but they are selling your secrets the moment you leave. Machiavelli warned that betrayal is inevitable, but he gave us a way to trap the rat. Today, you learn the false secret test to see who is truly loyal. Here's something that will change how you see your relationships forever. Most people betray you not out of malice, but out of weakness. They don't sit in dark rooms plotting your downfall. They simply can't resist the social currency that comes from knowing something others don't. Your secret becomes their leverage, their moment in the spotlight, their proof that they're on the inside. And you trusted them, you opened up, you shared something personal. And now it's everywhere. Here's the brutal truth. You can't prevent betrayal by choosing better people. Human nature doesn't change. What you can do is identify the weak links in your circle before they cause catastrophic damage. Machiavelli understood this. In The Prince, he wrote that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone willing to be deceived. But he also taught us how to identify these people before they strike. Today I'm going to teach you the false secret technique, a psychological warfare tactic used by intelligence agencies, adapted for your social circle. It's elegant, simple, and devastatingly effective. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly who in your life cannot be trusted with information, and you'll know what to do about it. So like this video, subscribe, and let's get started. 1. The illusion of trust. First, we need to destroy a myth that's been crippling your judgment. The myth that trust is a virtue. Let me be clear. Blind trust is not virtue. Blind trust is laziness. It's easier to assume everyone around you is loyal than to do the uncomfortable work of verification. It's more pleasant to believe your friends have your back than to test whether they actually do. So you tell yourself a story. I choose to trust people. I choose to see the good in everyone. That's not enlightenment. That's naivety with a philosophical costume. Real trust is not given freely. It's earned through observation and testing. The Roman emperors knew this. They had food tasters. Why? Because they understood that proximity does not equal loyalty. The person closest to you has the best opportunity to poison you. Think about your own life right now. How many people in your circle have you trusted simply because they've been around, because they show up, because they haven't obviously betrayed you yet? That's not a standard. That's an accident waiting to happen. Here's what you need to understand. People don't betray you because they're evil. They betray you because the incentive to talk is stronger than their loyalty to you. Maybe they want to impress someone else. Maybe they want to bond with a mutual acquaintance by sharing gossip. Maybe they're insecure, and sharing your secret makes them feel important. Maybe they're angry at you about something small, and this is their petty revenge. The reason doesn't matter. What matters is that they're a leak in your ship, and you need to identify them before you sink. Sun Tzu wrote in The Art of War, "If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles." But how can you know your enemy when they're pretending to be your friend? You test them. Not with confrontation, that warns them. Not with direct questions, that makes them defensive. You test them with information designed to trace back to its source. This is not paranoia. This is strategic awareness. This is refusing to be a victim of your own blind spots. And here's the uncomfortable truth you need to accept. Some people in your current circle will fail this test. You might be shocked by who. The person you thought was your closest ally might be the biggest gossip. The quiet one you barely notice might be the only one who actually keeps your confidence. You're about to find out. 2. The setup. Now let me walk you through the setup. This is where precision matters. You're going to create what intelligence agencies call canary traps, unique pieces of false information designed to identify a leak. Here's how it works. You will create 3 different false secrets. These must be specific enough to be memorable, harmless enough to not cause real damage, plausible enough to be believed, different enough to trace back to the source. Let me give you examples. False secret. You're thinking about buying a specific car, not just a new car. Name the make, model, and color. I'm seriously considering getting a blue Tesla Model 3. I've been researching it for weeks. False secret B. You're planning a trip to a specific location. I'm thinking about taking a solo trip to Japan in the spring. I've already started looking at flights. False secret C. You're starting a new project or venture. I'm actually thinking about starting a podcast about personal finance. I've been outlining episodes. Notice what these have in common. They're positive. You're not testing people with negative information that could harm you. You're not saying, I'm getting divorced or I hate my job. That's too risky if it spreads. They're boring to outsiders, a car purchase, a trip, a hobby project. These aren't scandalous, but they're interesting enough that a gossip would feel compelled to share. They're specific. The details matter. Not a Tesla, but a blue Tesla Model 3. Not a trip, but a trip to Japan in spring. This specificity is what allows you to trace the leak. Now here's the critical part. Do not make these secrets too important. You're not testing people with actual sensitive information. You're using bait. Think of it like a die pack in a bank robbery, harmless on its own, but it marks the thief. Write down your 3 false secrets. Make sure they're different enough that you'll know which one leaked based on what comes back to you. And here's a pro tip. Make them slightly embarrassing or vulnerable in a relatable way. I'm thinking about starting a podcast, reveals a small ambition. I'm looking at Teslas, reveals a financial aspiration. These small vulnerabilities make the secret feel more authentic and more worth sharing. You're creating irresistible bait. 3. The distribution. Now comes the deployment phase. This is where most people mess up, so pay attention. You're going to tell each false secret to one person, only one. This is critical. If you tell secret A to multiple people, you won't know who leaked when it comes back. The whole point of this exercise is precision. One secret, one person. Choose 3 people in your circle who you have some doubts about. Maybe you've had a nagging feeling. Maybe they've been a little too interested in your business. Maybe you just want to verify their loyalty because they have access to sensitive information. Here's how you deliver each secret. Make it casual. Don't sit them down for a serious conversation. Don't make it feel important. Drop it naturally in conversation. Oh, by the way, I've been looking at Tesla Model 3s. Might pull the trigger soon. Don't ask them to keep it secret. This is counterintuitive but crucial. If you say, don't tell anyone, you've now made it explicitly a secret, which changes the dynamics. Some people are bad at keeping explicit secrets, but wouldn't think to share casual information. You're testing their natural discretion, not their ability to follow direct orders. Give context that makes it feel real. I've been researching for weeks. I found a great deal online. I'm really excited about this. The more real it feels, the more believable it is. Then move on. Don't linger on it. Don't make it the centerpiece of the conversation. Mention it. Add a detail or two, then transition to something else. This makes it feel like a natural share, not a test. Now, timing matters. Don't tell all 3 people on the same day. Spread it out over a week or 2. This makes it more natural and gives each piece of information time to circulate. Let me give you a script for how this might sound. With person A. Hey, random question. Do you know anyone with a Tesla Model 3? I'm seriously considering getting the blue one. I've been watching reviews and I'm pretty much sold on it. With person B. I'm thinking about doing something crazy, maybe taking a solo trip to Japan in the spring. I've always wanted to go and I think I'm just gonna do it. With person C. Don't laugh, but I'm actually outlining a podcast about personal finance. I know. Everyone has a podcast now, but I think I have a unique angle on it. Natural, casual, believable. Now you wait. 4. The silence. This is the hardest part. You've planted your seeds. Now you must resist the urge to water them, to check on them, to ask follow-up questions. You must become invisible and let the information flow naturally. Here's what you need to understand about gossip. It moves fast. If someone is going to share your information, they'll usually do it within 48 to 72 hours. This is because the social value of information decreases with time. Being the first person to know something is currency. Being the 10th person makes you irrelevant. So your leak, if there is one, will likely happen quickly. But you can't watch for it too obviously. You can't start interrogating mutual friends. You can't change your behavior around the 3 test subjects. You need to continue exactly as you were before. Why? Because any change in your behavior signals that something is different. And people who gossip are often very perceptive. They read social cues. If you suddenly become distant or start asking pointed questions, they'll know something is up. So you wait with strategic patience. During this waiting period, pay attention to unexpected messages from mutual acquaintances. Hey, I heard you're thinking about getting a Tesla. Or Japan, huh? That sounds amazing. These are your echoes, the information coming back to you. Changes in how people interact with you. If you told person A about the car, and suddenly person D is talking about their own car purchase or asking you about electric vehicles, that's a soft echo. The information didn't come back to you directly, but it's influencing conversations in your circle. Who brings it up without prompting? This is the clearest signal. If you told person B about Japan, and person E says, "So I heard you're planning a trip to Japan," you have your answer. Here's a critical point. You're not looking for confirmation that someone shared the information. You're looking for which piece of information leaked and to whom it spread. The beauty of using 3 different false secrets is precision. If the Japan trip comes back to you, you know it was person B. If the podcast comes back, it was person C. If the Tesla comes back, it was person A. Simple, surgical, effective. Now what if nothing comes back? That's valuable information too. It means either your 3 test subjects are actually trustworthy, good to know. The information hasn't circulated yet. Give it more time. They shared it with people outside your circle. You won't see the echo directly. Give it 2 to 3 weeks. If nothing comes back after that, you can reasonably conclude those 3 people passed the test. But in my experience, something almost always comes back. 5. The trace. The echo has returned. Someone just casually mentioned your Japan trip, even though you only told person B about it. Now what? This is the trace phase. You're going to calmly and methodically confirm the source and understand the pathway of the leak. First, when someone mentions your false secret, don't react emotionally. Don't accuse. Don't get defensive. Simply say something like, "Oh, where did you hear that?" Their answer tells you everything. "Oh, person B mentioned it." Direct confirmation. Person B is your leak. "I think someone mentioned it at the gym." The information is spread beyond your immediate circle. This usually means person B told someone who told someone else. "Didn't you tell me?" This is gaslighting or confusion. Note it and probe gently. "No, I don't think so. I only mentioned it to 1 or 2 people." Here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes the person who leaked isn't trying to harm you. They genuinely think they're making conversation or connecting with someone else. They don't see sharing your car purchase as betrayal. They see it as small talk. This is why you used harmless information. You're not trying to catch someone destroying your life. You're trying to identify who cannot hold water. Once you've confirmed the source, you need to assess the severity. Category 1, the careless gossip. They share everything about everyone. It's not personal. They just can't keep their mouths shut. These people are low-level threats. Never tell them anything important, but they can remain in your outer circle. Category 2, the social climber. They share your information to elevate themselves. "Oh, I'm close with you. I know they're getting a Tesla." They're using your life to seem more important. These people are parasites. They need to be downgraded significantly. Category 3, the malicious operator. They share your information with people who they know will judge you or use it against you. This is rare with harmless information, but if you notice the gossip went to someone who dislikes you or was framed negatively, you have a snake. These people need to be cut completely. How do you figure out which category they're in? Look at the context of how it came back. Was it innocent? "Oh yeah, person B mentioned you might go to Japan. That's so cool." This is category 1. Was it name-droppy? "I was talking to person B, and they told me, you know how close they are with you, that you're getting a Tesla." Category 2. Was it judgmental or in a negative context? "I heard you're spending money on a Tesla. Must be nice." Category 3. The category determines your response. But here's what you must remember. This person failed a loyalty test. That's a fact. How you handle that fact is up to you. Now we come to the most important part. What you do with this information. You've identified the leak. You know who can't be trusted. Now you need to remove the threat without creating drama, without tipping them off, and without making yourself look paranoid to others. This is what I call the silent purge. Step 1. Stop the flow immediately. Do not tell this person anything of value anymore. Not your plans, not your struggles, not your wins. They are now on an information diet. When they ask about your life, you give them the gray rock treatment we discussed in a previous video. Not much, same old. How about you? Step 2. Create distance gradually. Don't suddenly stop talking to them. That's obvious and creates questions. Instead, become slowly less available. You're busy when they want to hang out. You're tired when they call. You're brief in your responses. Over weeks, not days, you fade them from your inner circle to your outer circle, to eventually no circle at all. Step 3. Do not confront. This is critical. Confrontation achieves nothing except making them defensive, making you look paranoid, and possibly creating a social situation where others have to pick sides. You gain nothing from confronting a gossip. They'll deny it, blame others, or turn it around on you. Instead, you simply adjust their access level to your life. Step 4. Protect the information ecosystem. If this person knows other sensitive information about you that's actually true, assume they might share it now or in the future. Do damage control where necessary. For major secrets, you might need to get ahead of potential gossip by controlling the narrative yourself. Step 5. Learn the pattern. This person showed you who they are. Believe them. Don't give them a second chance. Don't make excuses for them, and don't fall for future attempts to get close again. Some people will notice they've been distanced and will try to worm their way back in. Stay firm. Now here's what you don't do. Don't bad-mouth them to others. This makes you look like the gossip. It also potentially gets back to them that you're conducting tests, which burns the technique for future use. Don't announce what you're doing. I'm cutting toxic people out of my life. Posts on social media, just telegraph your moves. Move in silence. Don't feel guilty. You didn't betray them, they betrayed you. You're simply responding to information they gave you about their character. Here's what happens when you execute this correctly. The person usually doesn't even realize what happened. One day they'll think, I haven't heard from you in a while. But because you faded gradually, because there was no dramatic confrontation, they can't point to a specific moment where you turned on them. They might reach out. "Hey, stranger, how have you been?" You respond politely but vaguely. "Hey, been good, just busy, hope you're well." And then you continue the distance. Some will get the hint, some won't. It doesn't matter. What matters is they no longer have access to your real information. This is Machiavellian strategy at its finest, removing threats so smoothly that the threat doesn't even know it's been neutralized. Let me bring this full circle. Information flows like water. It always finds the crack. You need to find where the crack is in your circle before it sinks you. The false secret technique is simple military strategy applied to social life. You tell 3 different people 3 different versions of a story. To friend A, you say you're buying a specific car. To friend B, you say you're planning a trip to Japan. To friend C, you say you're starting a podcast. Then you wait. You don't ask them to keep it a secret. You just drop the bait and watch the water. When the rumor comes back to you, and it will, you know exactly which snake bit you. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to confront. You just need to be surgical. You cut them off. Not with drama, not with announcements, with silence and distance. Machiavelli taught that it's better to be feared than loved, but I'll add this. It's better to be careful than betrayed. Your circle should be small, tested, and proven. Not everyone deserves access to your life. Not everyone has earned the right to your trust. And now you have a way to know who has and who hasn't. Use this power wisely. Test carefully. And remember, loyalty isn't something you hope for. It's something you verify. The rats reveal themselves when you give them cheese. Your job is to watch who takes it and runs. You now know how to identify the leak in your circle. You know how to trace it, and you know how to remove it without drama. If this video armed you with strategic power, like this video and subscribe. More Machiavellian wisdom coming soon. Remember, trust is not given freely. It's earned silently and verified constantly. Stay strategic. Stay protected. Stay aware.